What's going on, everybody? Back once again for hold on. Thank you for making these games a series now, cause both the teams needed to win tonight, and by God, both of them did. Oh, back to the intro. Here for my recap of the games analysis. Blah blah blah. Whatever. One, we got really good games tonight. There was no like blowout. They all went close to the end or past the wire. Two, they 2-2, and so we at least know we getting more games. And I feel like, especially in these two series, is a given that we need more of these games. Three, I would like to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back, a little pat on the front, whatever. Because some of the stuff I point out, both teams sort of did today. Now, granted, I ain't like no wizard. I ain't over here being like, like some like crucial coach or a student of the game and nothing like that, to where I said something profound. But I was like, I got a little knack here and there for stuff. All right. So first to do, big game. Mr. OT, first on the panel, them 76ers versus them Celtics. And I was like, in my head, I already was like, okay, cool. They pretty much just like play, each other pretty well. They ain't nobody that really goes like two ahead until like maybe later on in the game, which, Sixers tried to. There was a time where they got like 13, 15. I was like, I forget when, but I think they was up a good amount. And in my head, I was like, okay. I didn't think the game was over. I was just thinking, okay, cool. This should be at least a good enough lead to where you shouldn't have a scare. Not only did they have a scare, they got scared upon. I guess that's how if you want to say it. Either way, I was like, they was up by like 12, and then like all of a sudden they was down by 7 or 5 or 7 or something like that. And it's just like, whoa, that happened incredibly fast. It was sort of for the Celtics. It seemed like it was a game of halves. It seemed like Jalenbrown came out firing in the first half, and then towards like the latter end of the second half, just didn't really participate. I mean, or didn't get touches, as they needed to. While vice versa of Tatum, where he wasn't scoring real like at all in the first half, and then in the second half, I was like heated up to where he pretty much was scoring like all their baskets over the end, other than like Marcus Smart. The Sixers, I basically was like either two. I was like two of the three things need to happen. I was like, Embiid needs to go off again, which he did. And I said either you get a combination game of like Harden or Maxey, or like Harden and Tobias Harris, of like them getting like like say like 25 each or something like that, or James Harden reverts back to James Harden. And guess what? Skip that middle one. He went right to James Harden. That dude was back in his bag. He put the game one combination in with having Joel back. And they were doing a lot of pick and roll and whatnot. But it wasn't just like, like Harden, like giving Embiid the ball, and they like nobody was really waiting. Harden was either attacking straight, or he put Joel in a pretty good spot to where Joel basically like he just holds the ball, but at least he knows he can like make this move, or he's gonna shoot a jumper pretty quickly. Yeah, so I was like they did that attack really well, and this is sort of what was needed, because I'm like on the other end you have too much of Brown and Tatum, even though they haven't really put it together together, I guess both and like both halves together. But you got too many other people like White can score and Horford's coming along and MarcussMart came along. Brogdon always giving you that 15-point range. I don't like he had more than that, but you know what I'm saying. Where I'm like, Maxey, he's still struggling. I was like, like you're not expecting nothing out of PJ, really. Tobias is Tobias. Anyway, yes, I was like, I was like, I noticed. I was like, man, a lot of these teams got weird X factors. Like in this one, it's like Tobias, where you're just like Maxey, what he can do higher than that. Tobias just never does, but he's a perplexing one. The Lakers to me is like it's D'Angelo. That's the perplexing one. I was like the Nuggets is Porter Jr. is like the perplexing one. I guess the Suns do, and I guess it's Ayton. Cause I was like, we don't really see any highs from them. It's just like there's there. Like at least with like Anthony Davis or James Harden, or Maxey or something, or like we know the high that they can do, and it's like okay, they just didn't do it. They all off. Anyway, but no, I was like it was a really fun paced game. I feel like the 76ers fan had like 3 to 4 different types of heart attacks in there. From like the last second shot that MarcussMart missed that sent to overtime, the MarcussMart shot that could have won the game. The jasontatum push shot back 3 he hit foul, but and every time that the Sixers kept getting close, and then they just kept shooting threes, and luckily PJ got the bucket and Harden got the time bucket, and then Harden got the 3 in overtime. But I was like, then there was like the Horford block on. I was like, there was so many times that I just felt like Sixers fans in that arena were just like, oh my god, I can't take this. But we got it knotted up 2-2, and that's all I was asking. And it's very funny that we have like the Sixers and Phoenix because they're similar in that their stars have to be outstanding in order to win. While 76ers got a better overall cast than Phoenix, you need Harden and Embiid to be that type top notch in order to win. Just like segue into our next game, the Suns and the Nuggets, and off the gate, off the rip, off the bat, out the gate. Anyway, that dude Jokic. I know there ain't nothing you could do to stop him. It's just crazy to see that there's absolutely nothing you could do to stop him. I was like, the man put up a 53 bugger. I was like, shot, and I mean, scoring output, and it doesn't matter if it's Ayton who gets eaten up. That dude, Lockdale or whatever. Shout out to him because I was like they're not playing Bismack, which I feel like is because at least like Landale is at least able to like hold whatever you want to say he can hold to Jokic, but he can at least complete like some baskets or some putbacks or something like that better than Biyombo. Also, he has a lot more girth to him than Biyombo does to also stop that behemoth coming down the. It's really amazing just for the fact that Jokic, like in the paint, he's just going to keep bullying ball people until he gets his shot. But the fact that he's out on the perimeter and you have to guard him in a way that you're like, I don't know if this dude's going to fake it and take it to the right or to the left. I don't know if he's going to drive it. He's going to stop, do the one-legged dirk on him. Is he going to just shoot the midi? Is he going to stay at the top of the key for the 3? Like he got such an arrangement of moves that I think that's also why it's hard to guard him. At least, especially for Phoenix, you would think that Ayton would I just don't know what's up to do Aiden. I thought that he would come out and at least have a better production than he did today, and no. Uh, I'm like they're putting the third string center basically in just because they need somebody to eat up minutes and do a better job and have a flow in the offense better than you. And the talent of Aiden and what he could do, where he's somebody that can shoot the mid-range jumper. He got soft touch, maybe too soft sometimes. Um, he would think he had a better offensive game to where at least he may not be able to stop Jokic defensively, but he's able to tire out or get Jokic offensively. And no, that's not the case either. Durant had a. I was like, this is probably the best of like this series. This is probably the best Durant shooting that he's had. I was like, I mean, that probably more so the playoffs, except for like the last game of the matchup against the Clippers. Um, where it looked like he was back to like it was just like the shots were finally going in of like the way he gets to his shots and stuff like that. Everything was sort of going down. Once again, Booker got the thing in the backpack ready to go. Carrying I was like he's the book bag of the team because he's carrying everything. Um, I'm like I was like I mean I was like Cam Payne is in there, but Devin Booker is really the initiator of offense. It's really just to move the ball. Also, finally, somebody else came to play. Shamet. I was like, I mean, granted, you supposed to hit those, you're gonna be that open. But they just need some contribution from somebody. Like the previous game, it was just having to be Warren that gave him just enough. I was like, Ross isn't. He's being better. I'll put it like that. Uh, but it's really just like Booker and Kevin Durant and just somebody, and there's a chance to. Because I was like, those two already know it. Yo, we got to go out here and get 30, 35. Chris Paul comes back. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if he's going to come back necessarily in the next game, but we'll see how it goes. Because I was like, I do think that I'm wondering if they should keep the starting unit how it is and have him work with the second unit that doesn't have people that can get their own shot. Like he can put, he might help Aiden out a lot more. But him with Ross and Warren and Landry and I'm just trying to think of other people that have come off their bench or whoever they pull out, the ground. He might help better with the second unit than the first unit, just because the first unit is a lot more. They running the ball at a faster pace, and it helps Durant and Booker have better one-on-one mismatch instead of constantly double, triple team type of thing. So that's something to look out for. Jamal, I was like, once again, I was like, he came to play, and then that's really about it. Porter Jr. Hadn't really found his shot. He doesn't, and it's sort of the thing that sort of is bothersome about Porter is that he's able to score and he's such an offensive dude, but he doesn't really get his own shot, and it takes a minute or it takes something to get him going. Like the other day, it was like the dunk. Once he got the dunk going, then he was hitting a couple shots, but by then it was a little too late. Um, I was like, Bruce Brown and KCP are really just more like Bruce Brown's really a hustle dude, so that's how he get a lot more at his point. KCP is really just like, I'm open for a three. And, so you can't really rely on them on scoring. So that's where Aaron Gordon needs to come in. And while I was like, but see, he plays the hustle guy role, but he could do so much more than that. And, now with the series tied, how it is, now you're sort of going to have him step up a bit. Because if it's going to be Jokic and Murray versus Booker and KD, the way it's been going is Murray has had a couple bad games, whereas Durant out kind of like Booker been fine on the whole thing. Durant still find other ways to get buckets, whether that's foul line or mid range shots, or he just like waits by his time and he just comes up with timely shot. Where like Murray has to do a volume shooter thing where he got to keep going and get going in order to find where he's at, and sometimes that puts him in the hole, sort of like they did last game. But either way, it's 2-2. We're notched up. We're tied, and by God, it's also the stars come out to play. And well, yes, the supporting cast is there and stuff like that, and it's been entertaining games. I was like, I don't know if it's just because we're focusing more on it or this is how it seems, but it seems like it's really more star, and it's always been star driven, but it almost seems like that the stars are needed even more. It's almost like how the surrounding cast has sort of been built around a lot of these teams, where it's like my star can do everything, and I just need y'all to rebound and defense or whatever. And it's not really anybody. There's really no third wheel type of score. There's really no six man. Celtics have it, and I think that's why it's not always so star driven on their side sometimes, even though it can be. But anyway, so appreciate y'all listening. If you liked anything I had to say today, thanks. If not, then hey, maybe there's the next time. And check out some other videos, popping up here. Maybe just go through the thing. And y'all know how to work this whole thing. Anyway, that's it. Peace. I'm out.